There are over 650 prayers in the Bible that are recorded prayers. But when you dig a little bit deeper, there's only about 450 recorded answers to prayer. So what does that tell us? That tells us that prayer isn't about all getting answers. It's about dialogue. It's about a friendship with God. It's about a dialogue with God. It's about listening to God. And it's about some interesting specifics concerning prayer. Now, the Lord's Prayer is probably one of the more common prayers that we all talk about, but it actually isn't the Lord's Prayer. It's the prayer the disciples ask in Matthew. Lord, we've been watching you. Okay, they didn't say this. I'm paraphrasing. We've been really watching you, and you do something different with prayer. Can you teach us how to pray? And so we know the Lord's Prayer. It's found in Matthew 6, and it's basically basic. How's that for definitions? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Okay, now if we just stop and break that down, it's really saying, I know who you are. I'm identifying with who you are. I am accepting the fact that I am lower than you, and your name is more important than any name I could be bestowed on earth. Even if I was to be some big important person or a king or a ruler, your name, because you are the creator of the universe, is the most important name there is. And you are not on earth. You are in heaven. Therefore, there's a whole different dimension that I care about with this. So, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, I'm identifying who I'm praying for. When I write a letter to someone, dear Ethel, dear Valerie, dear Penny, I'm identifying who I'm writing to. And by identifying who I'm writing to, that usually gives me a description of my relationship with them. Now, in verse 10, it says, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This, for me, is telling God, I'm okay with his agenda. Now, I'm not okay with a lot of people's agendas. I'm really not okay with the things people expect me to do for them that I don't want to do. And so that's my earthly nature. That's my human nature. That's my selfish nature, I guess you could say. But when I tell God, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, heaven is the glory of God, and everything done in heaven glorifies God. And it's an amazing experience that we can't even begin to describe. But whatever he's doing in heaven, do it down here on earth. I'll take that agenda that you're going to make everything so wonderful up there, and let me try to bring it to earth. Your kingdom up there with perfection, with purity, with beauty, I'll try to do your agenda on earth. Your kingdom come down here in me, who I am. I will try to be you on earth. I will submit to your agenda. Give us this day our daily bread. This really is identifying really who gives us our daily bread. Now, I know I go to Hy-Vee or I go to the farmer's market and I buy sourdough bread. There's my bread. But actually, where did the bread come from? And we start breaking it down. Everything we have, everything that our world rotates around comes from the creation of the world. How the seeds grow, how we produce heat to make our ovens, to turn our stoves on. This is all given by God when he created life as it begins rotating. So he gave this. And he gives us our needs. It says our daily bread. Now that does not mean that the sourdough bread I have sitting on my counter that I'm probably going to have toast and jam for lunch. That's not what he's saying. It's the basic needs. What do we really need? Now, our Americanized culture has a lot of wants that we confuse with needs. But God promised that he would supply our needs. And that's a promise. And we have to sometimes realign what we think our needs and our wants are with what God thinks that our needs and our wants should be. Forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. As we have been forgiven, pass it on. That's just grace. God gave us a gift of grace, and whatever God forgave us of and for, we need to pass that on to someone else. The kindness we've been shown by God, pass it on to someone else. The forgiveness we've been shown by God, pass it on to someone else. Whatever we've been given, we pass that on to someone else. We are a conduit. What God gives us, we give to others. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Okay, now this is like a father leading a child. And we we have done stuff with horses and with lead lines. And that a lead line simply means that someone else is controlling the horse, but the child on the horse thinks they are in control. Well, actually, there is a lead line controlling it, and they're not going to get too far out of control. Think about that as your child. You're always just right close to make sure that they have limits, and they're able to explore those limits, but there's also some conditions that you're going to protect them from. Just as a daddy knows always where his kids are and what's doing, and he's always just ready to scoop them up. That's what God is. He is not going to, a healthy father is not going to lead their child into something that would hurt them. And they are going to grab you at the last second from the brink of jumping off something that you might hurt yourself. So basically, when we break down that Lord's Prayer, it's acknowledging that God is the God we serve. We're asking to be a bigger part of his world. We're recognizing who supplies our needs. We're passing on the forgiveness that has been given us, and we are submitting to his leadership.